Hello everybody, how's it going, and welcome back to another video. Now, this is a little commentary discussion thing that I've got planned while I am away for a little bit, so please do excuse the kind of irregular upload pattern. It'll be back to normal in about 3 weeks' time, so just bear that in mind. Anyways, today we're going to be going over the modern day, my thoughts of what we can expect, what I want from the modern day, and kind of like my own theories and thoughts and things like that, things that, you know, people have been talking about for years, and, you know, what are we going to get in this modern day? What are we going to get? So, without further ado, let's go ahead and let's hop right into the video. So for a starter, do I think we're going to get a playable modern day? Quick answer to that, yes I do. I think so because Ashraf, whenever he talks about the modern day, like from this clip here...
Will there be a modern day story in Assassin's Creed Origins? Actually,
what I would say
yeah, sure.
is that we know the brand, we listen to our fans, we deeply want to make a game that fulfills their needs. You know, our fans have been with us for a very long time. We love them, we appreciate them, we want them to love this experience. We're doing this out of love and out of loving video games and Assassin's Creed, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, so you guys are aware of the negative feedback around the cutscenes of Unity and Syndicate and stuff, in other words? Or
we pay attention to the feedback. I lurk at the forums, you know. We know the feedback. We pay attention to it. Making games is very hard. You know, there's a lot of elements, and AC is a huge franchise. But having said that, for sure we pay attention. We read. We love our fans. We read what they say, and I can tell you, we've listened.
Okay, fair enough.
You can see that he's super confident in what he's talking about. You can definitely tell. He knows that it's what the fans want. That's what I think anyways. It seems to me that he's definitely, like, he's not just brushing over it and going, oh yeah, this is modern day, let's talk about this though. He's answering the question, he's saying, like, we can't talk about it, but this and this and this and this and this, and he's keeping the modern day relevant because I feel like he knows that it's going to be good. Like, he's confident about everything in the game. He seems to be incredibly confident with the modern day also, which makes me confident as well because this is super interesting. The modern day is shaping up to probably be something really good, at least in the eyes of Ashraf Ismail from the way that he's been talking about it. Now, what can we get? Now, there's obviously Juno's plan that's been developing since 2012. It's been this long time where she's done absolutely nothing. But what is her plan? What has her plan been this entire time? Well, her plan to me, I'm not entirely sure. I think in Assassin's Creed, like, 4, it was like she wanted everyone in the grey, and then it was like she's trying to rebuild Aita's memories, and now she wants to be a real person. I don't really know, like... See, I thought she was trying to get everyone and just put everyone into the grey, and she was gonna, like, rule this virtual world that would basically be the real world because everyone would be in it, but I guess not now. It seems to me that her current plan is to collect all of Aita's memories that are scattered throughout stages through history by using the Animus that Abstergo have supplied. She's then going to reconstruct, which Abstergo have been doing, a body for herself and Aita to put themselves into so that they can then rule the world together. Of course, the Assassins don't want this, the Templars don't want this, but Abstergo has no idea they're being manipulated by Juno because she's working through people that she has kind of, I guess, essentially brainwashed somehow. Maybe she's using a piece of Eden, something like that, some kind of power, to get a hold over people. And so, are we going to see a development of this in the next game? I think that we're going to see some form of development in this in the next game. I think that, you know, I think that Juno's plan will move forward. I think, honestly, if they don't end this game with Juno becoming a real person and getting her body back, then I'm going to be super mad. But that is something that I would like to see. I want to see this game I want to see Juno succeed with her plan. And then the next game is, now we need to stop her plan because now it's worked and we're going to try and stop Juno. That's what I want. I don't want another game where we're trying to stop her from becoming real and we're constantly doing that. It's really fucking boring at this point. So hopefully they'll progress onto something else with this game in terms of Juno's overall plan. Now, the next thing is the modern day character. Are we going to get a new character, a new story arc? I think this is going to be the beginning of the new story arc. I think we're going to be with the new modern day protagonist. I think we're going to have our goals. We're going to be meeting characters we've seen before. I think the reason we're going to be re-entering the Animus again is simply because of some kind of piece of Eden that's going to help with the goal that they're doing. And I have a little theory about this, and I guess there's two ways this can go, and I'll go over this in a little bit when I talk about the piece of Eden. But in terms of new modern day protagonist, I do think we're going to be seeing the modern day story through a new protagonist's eyes. Whether that's for this game only or whether this is the new protagonist from your story arc, who knows, but I do think it's a possibility. And I think it's very, very likely we'll get a new character in the modern day. I think it's going to be someone new. I don't think it's going to be, you know, Sean or Rebecca or, like, Galena. I think it'll be someone new. Whether that be Desmond's son working with the instruments of the First World, which would be incredibly interesting. or whether it's just an entirely new character working with the Assassins. Could go either way at this point, but regardless, I do think we're going to get a new modern day protagonist. Now, in terms of Desmond's son, what do I think his role is going to be? Now, if we're playing as him, I think it's going to be this really cool story of like a conflict between, do I need to follow in Desmond's footsteps, or am I Aita and I need to follow Juno? I don't know what to do, because he's going to be torn at this point. He doesn't know which version of himself he is. Like, is he the Aita version, or is he Desmond's son? It's going to be a very conflicted story, and I think that'll be really cool to play as. If we're not playing as him, then I do think he'll be a main antagonist of the game. He'll be someone they'll talk about, and not necessarily an antagonist, but more of this character where it's like, Juno has a hold over him. We need to break that hold and get a hold of Juno's son for the Assassins. I reckon that would possibly be one of the stories that's going to be going along with this game, depending on which way they do it, but I do think Desmond's son will be prominent in the game. They wouldn't have introduced him otherwise. If they're just going to use him in a comic, that's incredibly stupid, so I do reckon he'll be a big part of this game, along with Juno, and it'll be really cool to see how that develops. Now, my main theory for the modern day, now this is something that I don't necessarily expect it, I don't necessarily know if I want it, but it's a theory that to me makes sense, and I kind of wanted to go over it, is the whole thought of Desmond returning. Now, I know I've said this before, Desmond can't come back. He can't come back in a sense, but the way that I thought about it is they're trying to make bodies for Juno and Aita. What if this entire modern day is through a new modern day protagonist's eyes? You're seeing, this modern day, and your mission is, we need to clone a body for Desmond. We already know that his mind and consciousness is within the grey, and Juno's is also within the grey, so if you can take minds like Juno's from the grey, put it into a body, you could do the same for Desmond. And then to clone Desmond's body, of course, we have Desmond's DNA. You can clone a perfect replica body of Desmond's body if you wanted to, using his DNA. So, the Assassin's plan could be to infiltrate Abstergo, to find Desmond's DNA, clone him a body, use the Ankh that they found within the Animus, which is why we're going to ancient Egypt, which allows you to take consciousness and consciousnesses and transfer them to other bodies, which links up. They find that in ancient Egypt. They take the Ankh, they infiltrate Abstergo, they hijack the project, they take Desmond's consciousness from the Grey into the Ankh, they then transfer that into a clone body of Desmond that they've cloned using his DNA that Abstergo can clearly do, and Desmond returns. That is a theory that I think makes sense. It's not necessarily something that I don't know whether it's a difficult one, because I'm like, do I want that or not? I don't know, but it sounds fucking cool. And I think at the point that we're at now with the modern day, where everything's just a big mess, I'm not mad if they bring Desmond back in that way. I think it would be a cool narrative for this game's modern day, to have us play the modern day again. Our main motive is, let's get Desmond back. Come on, can we do this? Will it actually happen? And then it happens, and you're like, yes, Desmond is back, and then it's the new story arc begins, because when Desmond comes back, Juno's back too, with Aita, and that's the new story arc. We need to try and stop Juno and Aita, and Desmond is now back. That would be a really, really cool storyline, a really cool setup, because at this point, Assassin's Creed Modern Days kind of just gone down the fucking toilet, so let's just do that, bring Desmond back. It'd be cool, wouldn't it? Let's just do it, fuck it. That'd be great. Now, I've already talked about this, but as for the Piece of Eden, I do think it'll be the Ankh. I think that makes sense for transferring consciousnesses, because whether you're playing as an assassin, your mission's always bring back Desmond, or whether you're playing as Desmond's son and you're going into the Animus to try and find the Ankh so you can bring back Juno, because you need the Ankh to transfer the consciousness into the body, that makes sense too. So I do think the Ankh will play a huge role in this thing. That'd be the main thing. I mean, Altoberg was trying to find the Ankh in Assassin's Creed Rogue, so we know that was a thing. So I think the Ankh will be very prominent, and I think that'll be the main Piece of Eden that they'll be focusing on within Assassin's Creed Origins. As for the first Civ appearances, Ashraf's already said there are, I think he said there's no, his words are there's no gods in this game, but it seems to me that the way he's phrasing things is that Bayek is going to come into contact with a Piece of Eden, or with a message from one of the first civilization, in order to send him on his mission. That's the way it looks to me, from the way they've talked about things and what I've pieced together myself. That to me kind of makes a lot of sense, and I do think that Bayek early on will come in contact with the first Civ, not a live first Civ, but the same way Ezio did, and the same way Desmond did, and the same way Connor did, with meeting these messages of first Civ people, and I think they'll probably send him on his way. Whether that is Juno, whether it's someone new that we haven't seen, I would like to see a new Isu, because we just keep seeing Juno, Minerva, and we saw Jupiter once. I would like to see a new Isu. I think that would be really, really cool to see another Isu character. Maybe Consus or someone like that would be very, very nice to see. So I do hope that we do get to see them somewhere in the game. But I do think they'll be relatively prominent, considering we're in ancient Egypt. This is the furthest back we've ever been, so I think it makes sense that the Isu will be a big part of this game. Now, for the modern day, will we be the Assassins or the Templars, or neither? Now, I think Templars is out of the question for this game. I think it's between either being one of the Assassins or were the instruments of the first world with Desmond's son. And I mean, I've talked about this in this video enough now, I think, to understand what you guys will understand what my point of view is on this. I think we're either going to be with the assassins or we're going to be with the instruments as Desmond's son. I think that's, of course, the case at this point. We know so little, so this is, of course, all speculation based off of, like, the tiniest of things. But the general basis being, I think we've got a playable modern day. I think there's a possibility of Desmond returning. Juno's probably going to sort out, plan out. We're going to have returning characters, and Desmond's son is going to be a huge figure within the modern day. I think those are the things that we know, but it's just a matter of time now. To me, personally, I hope that they don't tell us anything, but I feel like they're going to tell us at least a bit. At least a little bit before the game comes out. And as long as it's not a lot, I'm not entirely mad at that. So, thank you guys for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to smack the like button, because that'd be fantastic. Would it? Yeah, it would. Subscribe if you are new to stay up to date on all things Assassin's Creed Origins related. And let me know in the comment section below your ideas for the modern day, as crazy as they might be. Let me know anything. What do you want to happen to the modern day? Because I am super interested. Thanks for watching me, guys, and I will see you all next time. Bye!